All right, welcome back, everybody. So glad you're joining me today. Today, we're going to be talking about how to define that one big goal for your business. Okay, whether that's a business goal, a marketing goal, whatever it might be, but how to go about setting that. And, I know I said this in the intro, but if you're anything like me, you probably worked in corporate at some point in time in your life, and you've had the opportunity to work with your manager or senior manager or whatever, and setting goals for you and, for the business that you needed to be bringing in, or those milestones that you needed to achieve in order to get the promotion or whatnot. You're familiar with goal setting. But again, if you're a business owner or working in a business, gosh, sometimes that can be really hard to do when you're the one who's actually setting the goals. When I worked in corporate, I had other people setting the big audacious goals. And then for me within my department, I would set the goals to achieve, the big goal, right? So I already had the brain trust, the people who are already developing the thing that I needed to achieve. And I just needed to develop the tactics and strategies to be able to achieve that one thing, right? So, but when you're a business owner, life is a little bit different. And, it's so interesting to me that I've always been a results oriented person, and having my own business has elevated this to a whole new level. All right. And I want to share with you how I go about determining those goals that I want to achieve, because here's the thing. And here's my big quotable. All right. If you don't have goals, whether they be financial, marketing, business goals, whatever, if you don't have goals, my friend, you do not have a business. You have a hobby. All right. And you're just throwing money into the wind. And nobody wants to do that. If you're in business, we're here to make some money. Right. So I have 3 steps that I want to cover today that will help you be able to really identify what is that one thing. Or for me, I'll be honest with you, I have 3 things going into this next year that I really want to focus on. And I'll share with you that. In fact, in episode 29, I talked about that as well too. But for me, I have 3. For you, keep it at 1. Keep it at 2. No more than 3 though. All right. So because the more goals that you have, and especially if you're a solopreneur, have a small staff, the more goals you have, the more likelihood that you're going to get overwhelmed and you're not going to achieve any of it. All right. And so we don't want to do that. All right. So step 1, I want you to go back to episode 29 and go through my little checklist of all the things I want you to review for the year end. But let me just kind of recap the highlights here. So step 1 is we need to review what worked and didn't work this past year. So you've got to look at your balance sheet and your P&L statement. You've got to see what are those products, services, and offerings that you have out there into the world that worked for you or they didn't work for you. What had the highest return on investment? Where do you need to be spending your time into the future? You got to look at that. What products or services made you the most money? Think about it from that lens. You need to be thinking about your clients that you serve. Do you like working with those clients? Do they pay on time, or do they nickel and dime you? Those are things that you need to be thinking about. You need to check your social media analytics. You need to check your email open rates. Why did some posts perform better than others? Why were certain emails opened at a higher open rate than others? Was it because of the subject line? Was it because of the content? Was it because of a catchy hook that you had in your social media post or whatnot? Really take a look and just quickly scroll through LinkedIn or Instagram, and you can easily see those analytics and be able to really take a look at what worked and what didn't, and how can you make it better for the new year, right? I also want you to check levels of engagement too. It's not just eyeballs or likes on your post or whatnot. It's the actual engagement. It's people who are commenting on your post, those people who are DMing you. That's what we mean by engagement. So step 1, again, recap this. Review what worked and didn't this past year. All right. Step 2, you need to imagine your future. Okay. So I'm going to throw out a couple of questions here, and we'll have these in the show notes as well too. But I want to ask you these questions. What would you love to see have happen in your business next year? Is it more clients? Is it more visibility? Is it speaking on bigger stages, more podcasts that you're speaking on? Is it writing a book? What are those things that you would love to see have happen in the new year? All right. How much money do you want to make? And subsequently, how many hours do you want to work, right? For me, I really don't want to work more than 20, 25 hours a week. Okay, so in order for that to have happen, I've got to look at the money that I want to make. How many hours is it going to take me to do that? Do I need to increase my prices? What do I need to do in order to achieve that balance? Okay, so I want you to think about the money that you want to make and how many hours do you want to be working? Another question, what would you do if you knew that you couldn't fail at something? All right. Just again, we're thinking blue sky here, imagining the future. And what would success look like to you? I can guarantee you that success for me this past year is going to look very different than success for me going into 23. Okay. It just is, because we grow. We continue to check things off of the, oh, I accomplished that list. Right. And so I want you to think about what success looks like for you. And I want you to think about it from, yes, a financial perspective. How much money do we have in the bank? Because we all have our eyes set on that as well too. But I also want you to think about, when it comes to success, is it like what I said earlier? Is it speaking on big stages? Is it more podcasts? Is it the book? Like, what is it for you? What does success look like for you? And then finally, my third step is, and for those of you who've worked in corporate before, and even in large nonprofits and in the government space too, we talk about SMART goals, okay? And SMART goals are just a really good way to look at, when you're goal setting, you want to set goals that are actually going to be achievable. Otherwise, you'll get overwhelmed and you won't see things through, okay? And I say this, set 1 to 3 goals. And if you're a baby business owner, I think that you need to be setting 1 goal. All right. Because again, I'm telling you, overwhelm will set in. If you don't have a staff or people to help you, you need to be keeping your eye on the prize of just 1 big goal. For me, I've got 3 goals heading into this next year. I also have people to help support me as well too. All right. So in all fairness and honesty, we need to put that out there on the table. But if you're a baby business owner, I want you to be thinking about 1 big goal for yourself. And let's think SMART about these goals. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, or actionable. It's called that as well too. Relevant and time bound. Okay. So let's talk about what that means for you. So specific, you need to establish clear goals that are specific in nature. Don't get too pie in the sky with these goals, or you risk, again, overwhelming yourself and not doing anything. So for example, for me and my business moving into the new year, 1 specific goal I have is I want to have 5 large speaking engagements with over 100 people. Okay. 5 large speaking engagements with over 100 people. I actually already have 1 on the books for in January. So I only need to have 4, and that is my big goal. So 4 speaking engagements, or I'm sorry, 5 speaking engagements for the year of 2023. And I already have 1 booked. Okay. So I only need to have 4 more left and I'm good to go. So very specific. Measurable, determine how you can measure the success or completion of that goal. There's no need to necessarily attach a number to all goals, right? But you need to have some sort of measure in mind so you know that you've actually achieved the goal, you've reached the goal, right? Or that it's in sight, okay? So measurable. Again, my goal is 5 large speaking engagements by the end of 23. That's very measurable, all right? Attainable. A goal has got to be something that you can actually reach. Again, no pie in the sky stuff. All right. We can't do that. You've got to look at your financials. You've got to look at your client data to help you determine if what you're looking to achieve is actually achievable. Okay. I don't want you to be putting, for me, for example, going back to the speaking engagements thing, me speaking on 20 stages for my first year that I'm really focusing on this. If that happens, great. But my goal is 5. I need to keep that achievable because right now, like I said earlier, I've already booked 1. So I only have 4 more, for 23. And I tell you what, when I do my mid-year review in June, if I've already achieved the 5, well, then I'm going to put another 5 on the calendar, right? So you've got to think attainable, achievable goals, okay? Relevant. Let's talk about the relevant piece of this. Is your goal relevant to that bigger picture of what you're looking to achieve in your business? Will that goal contribute to the success of your business? Okay, let me bring this back to my business and what I am looking to do. Moving into 2023, I really want to focus on more PR, public relations opportunities, more speaking opportunities. I want more eyeballs on what it is that I do. So the activities and the things that I'm going to be focusing on are all aligned to that. Okay. So for me, having 5 speaking gigs for the year of 2023, that is very relevant to my overall goal of wanting to be visible and wanting to be in front of more eyeballs overall. Okay. So are you smelling what I'm stepping in here? This is a lot of information in a very compact period of time, but this is really good stuff. And I want you to hone in here. The final piece of this is time bound. This is the T in SMART goals, time bound. You've got to be realistic about setting a time on your goal. Okay. So for me, again, going back to my goal of 5 speaking engagements for the year of 23, if I were to have set a goal of having 5 speaking engagements by February 1st of 2023, that's not realistic. Okay. And that's putting a lot of pressure on me to perform and get things done at lightning speed. And the fact of the matter is, I have clients that I serve. The fact of the matter is, I have a life. I have 3 kids. I travel. I have a husband. I'm doing other things, with my life as well too. So that would not be something realistic. And the time frame on that with setting a goal and getting that done in 30 days, that's not realistic either. So we've got to think about our goals in terms of being specific, measurable, achievable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Okay. That's a really good way to go about looking at, when you're goal setting, is this really going to work for you or not? All right. So again, as we're moving into the new year, I want you to really think about what is that one big goal that you would like to have, when it comes to marketing your business. What is the one thing that you would like to achieve? And so step 1 is review and look at what worked or didn't work this past year. That's step 1. All right. And there's a host of questions that you need to be asking yourself. Go back to episode number 29 for the thorough list of everything. But number 1, review what worked and didn't this past year. Number 2, imagine your future. Ask those blue sky questions. What would you love to see have happen in your business this next year? What does success actually look like for you? Okay. And number 3, be smart about those goals. Okay. SMART is the acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And those are the 3 big things that you really need to be thinking about for your business moving into the new year. And I do want to offer up this as well too. One thing that I developed actually a couple of years ago was I call it my marketing SWOT analysis. And it's a host of questions that just get you to thinking about, what do I want to see for my business moving into the next year? Just questions that I've developed, frankly, over the past 24 years of doing this level of work that I really think will help you be able to define what these goals might look like for your business. So if you're interested in that SWOT analysis report, the questions, what I want you to do is I want you to hop on Instagram or LinkedIn. I want you to shoot me a direct message and just type in the word SWOT, and I will send you the link so you can grab that analysis. Because I'm telling you, it will ask you the questions that you need to be asking of your business and of yourself, so you can start the new year off in a really strong, positive way. All right. So friends, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, let's make money with your marketing.